Hiya and welcome to the Red Men TV. It is the Umbu as Liverpool play once again. I forget how thick and fast these games come until you're actually in it. I'm delighted to be joined by Luke and Ste for this one. And it is Liverpool v Southampton in the EFL Cup. It is our first round, not theirs, sadly for them. But, I mean, the only thing I can think of is how nice this is going to be for the amount of people who can bring their kids and have family days, Luke.
Yeah, that's what it's about, isn't it? The cup. I think when you first start going to the game, like I used to hate the cup, it used to get in the way. I used to be like, oh, why are we playing these middle of the week? But I actually quite enjoy it now, and I think it's just because Liverpool have got a little bit better at football. Yep. And it's, we're going to rotate the team, we're going to see a few players who haven't had too many minutes, and they're all boss footballers. And we'll probably, maybe we see a couple of debuts, maybe he throws a few surprises in there. It would be nice to see, wouldn't it? But it's one of them, usually, I think I used to go into these games thinking, we're going to change 11 players here, it's going to be a tough games. But we can change 11 and we're probably still going to batter them, to be honest. So yeah,
like Luke said there, I think in previous years, I think you'd look at this game and people wouldn't be too up for it because of the amount of rotation. People who bring the kids, they're not going to see, the most exciting of players. You're not getting your Mo's or your Virgils or anything like that. However, right now, what you're getting is a solid back four. You're getting to see the likes of Rio. You might get to see the likes of the Isak and things like that. So actually, it is more interesting because we've got a bigger squad and we've got boss players who will still be in this game.
Yeah, the Carabao Cup it goes one or two ways, doesn't it? You don't over-egg that, repeat it too much, but I think at this stage of the season it's all right because there are lads who just need the minutes. Towards the end, when it gets a bit more serious, double semi-finals, final, is where, if you don't win it, it can become a hindrance to what you want to try and do. And I think Liverpool felt the effects of that a little bit last time. They did start hiding around that turn of the year, and obviously the dates have now changed for this competition. It's all moved around with the seedings of the draw and Europe, extra European games and stuff. So for now, it's a one where there's lads who are eager to prove themselves, get themselves in this team, and that is a positive. You're right. There are guys who need minutes that will benefit Liverpool in the next couple of weeks. So I think this is a good one for us at this moment in time. It's a home draw against a team who will try and play footy, so it's not going to be a yard dog type of game. You're obviously still the favourites to the lower league team, and of course Southampton will be coming here trying to cause the upset club. But I think this is one that suits Liverpool. If this is away, miles away, and some team who are going to kick lumps out of here or whatever, then that doesn't bode well. But there's so many players we will speak about in a moment who will be desperate to get some minutes and need those minutes. So yeah, I'm quite looking forward to it.
Yeah, we did play them last season in the Carabao Cup. The only difference was I was absolutely furious because we had to go all the way to Southampton. Thankfully this season they have to come up to us. But speaking of Southampton, they sit 19th in the Championship. Obviously Will Still is in charge of them. They've only won one of 6 league games so far, with 2 losses on the board there and 3 draws. However, they did beat Norwich 3-0 in the previous round. So, I looked through their squad earlier and there was only a handful of players I actually remembered, Luke. But I guess, Liverpool can't be complacent and we've got to actually say to the lads, go and put on a show because these aren't in the greatest of form right now.
No, definitely not. I think Will Still's probably got a bit of a point to prove as well. Yeah. It's probably going to be his first massive game going to a massive club, apart from besides PSG when he's over in Liga. It's just going to be a few more cameras on him given he's an English manager. So yeah, he probably want to come in. What's good is, like Steve said, he probably want to play a bit of football and showcase his football a little bit, which means it hopefully be quite a good game to watch. What I did notice when I was just doing you've got to do a little bit of research for these shows, because otherwise you can't talk about Southampton, can you? We're not watching that. So
you are vastly overestimating us.
So I had a quick look through and he was making like 6-7 changes the earlier round. Alex McCarthy seems to be their cup goalie as well. He's had a stinking record against Liverpool. I think he's like 23 goals and 11 appearances.
Last year when he just ran out of his goal, like was most out of an empty one,
likely he'll be in goal as well, so that's not a great omen for them. But yeah, they need to prove something, needs to do something. What I did notice is he was sort of playing a free back in them first games and now he's playing a full back. So
I so enjoy how you're telling me about tactics in Southampton.
I think it'd be I think Will Still's one of the most interesting managers up and coming. He sort of had a bit of a big reputation. Everyone thought he was going to get a massive move and then he didn't get it, did he? So I think it will be quite interesting to watch.
It's one of them where for him, this is going to sound really negative, and I don't mean it, but like, he clearly backs himself, and he clearly will have a point to prove. And those type of managers on big stages do sometimes, some managers of championship teams might just think, you know what, like you said, rest and rotate. Southampton's aim is to get back promoted, and they're having a really tough start to doing that. So there might be a temptation to go, you know what, we just kind of throw this one in a bit and whatever. But I think we'll still, because like you said, the reputation he wants to have and what he's kind of started building for himself, from basically nothing to a manager, in France and then over back in England. I think he has built that reputation where he wants to continue taking the next steps. I think he's highly ambitious. He ends up on Monday Night Football towards the end of last season. That's PR reasons, isn't it? You're trying to get yourself out there. So, and it worked. He got himself a job in the Championship with a top side in Southampton in that league. So he'll be coming with a point to prove. But like, they have won one championship game all season, and it was 2 goals in injury time against Wrexham. In the first game of the season, they have struggled, and sometimes it can go one or two ways when you go down. Your squad's that good, it just goes bang back up again. But like, Southampton were crap last year in the Premier League. That's the problem. They were so bad, and then they lose players and they change a manager. They're not one of those teams who like go down, keep the core of the team together, and it was a really strong team. We only just went down and we go again. They were so poor that they implemented all these changes, and it clearly hasn't settled yet. Which again, it could be a guess that's positive for Liverpool. That you might not get a team who are. Do you remember when Russell Martin brought Southampton in the Cup a couple of years ago? Lewis Kumar scored. That Southampton team knew what they were doing. They were actually quite good. They were playing through the lines, and they could tell they had this well-oiled machine. It doesn't quite feel that this will still Southampton are there just yet, I guess. No,
Russell Martin is also struggling over at Rangers as well. So it shows both parts of last season isn't going well. Southampton haven't started well, and he's definitely not doing great for Rangers right now. I enjoyed how you went into more detail than I did. This is what I did. Are you ready? Players I can remember from their squad last season. Bazunu, who you've told me won't be playing because Alex McCarthy. Jack Stevens, I remember him, centre half. Harwood Bellis, remember him. Ryan Fraser, who I actually know.
For England?
Yeah, how about
England? Fraser, who I actually remember more from Bournemouth than from Southampton, but they've got Adam Armstrong and Cameron Archer as well, so they've still got some all right players. I was going to say decent, but I'm not sure they are. But you've got some players who on their day can play quite well.
It'll be fascinating, Chloe, won't it? Because Luke's right, in the last round they did change and they battered Norwich, and Norwich having an equally poor horrid time. Can you come to Anfield and leave all those lads out because you're worried about your league form? I don't know, again, I don't know how massive under pressure you are after 6 games at Southampton, but I'm sure there's an expectation to come straight back up. Like, I don't think Southampton are one of these teams who are quite happy to just be a championship team. They feel more ambitious than that. It will be fascinating. Does he go, you know what? And this is what I think he will do. I think he will go full strength, because it goes back to the point we made earlier of he wants to put on a little bit of a show. We'll still, again, he isn't there to be Southampton manager for 10 years. He wants to be a top manager. You can tell he's just that type of guy, which is ambitious, and that's right, he should be. I don't think he's thinking about the next league game now. I think he's thinking of going to Anfield on the telly and making a proper statement. So I think all these lads, loads of them didn't play in the last round. I've got a sneaky feeling you might see them all back in for tomorrow.
Also, it's Anfield, so a lot of them will want to come and play at Anfield and put on a show. And like you just said there, he's 4 points off 6th in Coventry. He's actually 10 points off Middlesbrough in first.
That's a big gap after 6 games.
That is a massive gap. So, I don't get why they wouldn't turn their attention to a little bit of a cup run, because if anything, that's his way to kind of make sure he's still in a job, is that, if it's not going right in the league, but look at this cup run that I'm getting. I'm in a little bit of money. But more importantly, and being able to go on this cup run, you go to some of the bigger teams, but also you've got a chance, because if there are any big upsets, you can face a lower league team. So I actually think that a cup run is a nice distraction for them.
Yeah, I think it's the extra games in the Championship that's the problem.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time it is like 2 games a week minimum. You know what I mean? A few weeks in the season, there's not. This is one of them, and I think they're only playing a couple of games before the next international period.
It's 3 games a week, but that's okay.
Yeah. But after that, it starts to heat up, and I think that's the issue. But the other point aside of that, the point you're making there, Chloe, is essentially if they come to Liverpool and get a big upset, that's going to buy Will Still a bit of time in the job, and it's also going to help sort of maybe bring the squad together. Because they're struggling at the moment. It might be a belief, might be a tactic sort of thing. Players aren't buying in. If you go to Liverpool and do a job in Liverpool, suddenly the squad morale is going to be through the roof, and he's going to have everybody on board.
Especially because they play Middlesbrough next, who are the best team in the Championship so far. They've clearly established themselves as right up there, and that. Yeah, because like if you get battered by Liverpool, and it shouldn't really matter, but then you go to Middlesbrough, and sometimes Middlesbrough come to you, and maybe you lose that one, which I guess in current form, Middlesbrough should be quite confident of going to Southampton and winning. This pressure does ramp up on them a little bit, so yeah, I think they're going to come with a point to prove. And like I say, I go back to it all the time. It's a cliche. It is like a bit of a free hit. Yeah. Like you can lose narrowly and give Liverpool a really good game, like, and you go with a bit of credit in the bank. So you're right to say if your league form's up and down, just a win in the cup can just give you that little bit of a boost, because like I say, he's won 2 games all season. One of them has been in this competition. There's therefore a bit of value in it for him and for his team and for his players, who are all like I say trying to prove a point and get themselves back. Like I say, one of them's play for England. Like these are guys who there's no better shop window, is there, than playing at Anfield for yourself, for your own career as well.
Yeah, exactly. But that is enough on Southampton. We'll look at us because, it's a bit more entertaining and exciting.
Well, we look at us.
Yeah, there we go. We have a clue. Just to let you know that there is no pressure. So, an update on anything that might have happened in the past couple of days in terms of injuries or anything, we won't know. We'll have to find out. But what we can tell you is that Slot has ruled out Virgil, Evo, Mo, Ryan and Dom, which we all knew would happen anyway. But obviously in the aftermath of beating Everton and playing 3 games in 1 week, he did say they definitely won't be a part of it. So I say, let's just guess on everything then, and we'll go from the goalkeeper. I think that is a very easy given, isn't it, Luke? Are you excited to see Mamardashvili? Because he didn't have a brilliant pre-season, I think that is fair to say, but I think we all know the quality he must have and what he had at Valencia for us to go and put big money on the table for a backup goalkeeper.
Yeah, and I think he's probably found life a little bit difficult because he's sort of got to adjust to Liverpool's system. He's gone from Valencia, who were essentially, they're a massive name in the league, but they've been really poor, and he's essentially been a shot stopper. And he's been, to be honest, he's been a bit of like a Donnarumma, to be honest, a big fella in goal who's just going to make a load of saves and not do a lot with his feet. That's sort of how he's been playing for Valencia. And he's come in and now he's being asked to do a lot with his feet and stuff like that. He's probably just took him a little bit more time to adjust, especially. But, he's had a couple of weeks now behind the doors. He's had pre-season under his belt. He's got minutes there. He'd be excited to put Liverpool shirt on an Anfield in a competitive football match. So, yeah, I am excited to see him. I'm
also excited for him because, he could have gone to quite a number of big clubs there who were looking for first team Premier League goalkeepers, and he would have been up there on a lot of people's list. But what he did do instead was signed for what is now the champions, stayed back house on loan for Valencia. And I think he's got, in the back of his head, Alisson will be leaving Liverpool at some point in the next couple of years. But trying to dislodge him, good luck, because you've got absolutely no chance. So these are the games where he's going to have to show his best, because he won't, albeit Alisson has an injury at least once a season, this is the only time he gets to actually show himself, to put himself forward for that number 1 spot when Ali does leave.
Yeah, and I think that rings true for a lot of these lads. If you want more game time, we'll win this. Yeah. The cup runs can get you a game. I say this all the time about Quivine Kelleher, cup runs are what got him a move to a Premier League team. He didn't get injuries to Alisson helped, of course. He didn't, and Alisson was too many games, but Kelleher proved himself in the cup before he proved anything, didn't he? And that's how he ended up with moves. So it's a bit different for Mamardashvili, because you're right, he's not looking for a move eventually. He's looking to be Liverpool's number 1, and when that time comes, we'll all cry for a little bit, but then hopefully it works. Yeah, and it's his debut. He's making his Liverpool debut now at Anfield, so it's a massive occasion for him and his family. And like I say, I thought he was okay in pre-season, was a bit mad and whatever, who really cares, but you don't want to make a bad first impression. You know what I mean? Everyone remembers your first, the impression you make, and it takes a while to change. It took Kelleher a long time to change minds, because he looked a little bit ropey at times, very early. He looked small in the goal and wasn't quite going his way. Mamardashvili won't have that problem. He's a giant. Yeah. But I think you want to make a good first impression on your debut. So yeah, I am looking forward to actually. That's one of the reasons I think it's a fascinating game, just to see where are we at with him, because if he's the future, he is. He hasn't been brought in to sit on the bench for 5 years and go. He's eventually going to be Liverpool's goalkeeper if everything goes to plan. So yeah, this is step 1 on that journey, I suppose. And the last thing he needs is to be throwing a couple in against Southampton. So I think he'll be fine. Yeah,
we mentioned earlier how much more exciting these games are, because of the squad that we have. I mean, looking at the defence that we could potentially put out there, I mean, imagine telling someone, yeah, we've just got Jeremy Frimpong here playing, you know, on a Tuesday against Southampton in the EFL Cup. You've got the likes of Leone, who I cannot tell you how excited I am to see him. Gomez, obviously, we'd assume that Robbo might have a part of this. The other name that has been thrown up is Reece Williams. I'm not sure we'll see him, but he might be in the squad of some sort, Luke. But how excited are you to see some of these players, especially for me, Leone?
Yeah, Giovanni Leone going to make his sort of competitive day. Well, no, first thing, we got him so late in the window, didn't we? So that'll be really good to see, especially the hype around him. And he went away with Italy, didn't he, for international duty? You're right in saying that. So there's clearly a player there, isn't there, that we're yet to see and yet to discover. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. Joe Gomez as well. Like I thought Joe Gomez, when he came on against Arsenal, was absolutely brilliant.
Immense.
Yeah, he had such a good game. And I want to make a controversial argument, but I do think Joe Gomez on his day, if he's fit, he's real competition for Ibu Konate. It's just he's never consistently fit. So he's really got himself a point to prove, and it was one of them we thought he was going to move, and he hasn't. We've kept hold of him, and hopefully he's going to go on and do a job for us this season. We will be calling on him at some point in big games like Arsenal, likely to start somewhere with an injury. So get him a good run in the side, a good run out, hopefully against alright championship opposition.
I think it's important as well to that mix of experience, and you're right with Robertson. He should captain the team, but shouldn't he? And
also, like, he is now the vice captain. We all knew that, and he won't be happy to be playing Tuesday against Southampton rather than, you know, a Saturday against Everton. However, what you can say is like, you're the vice captain, so you are now the leader of this entire group. Sometimes you have to sacrifice part of yourself to be the biggest player in this team now, because he's going to have to lead a load of players who, we're mentioning all of these, none of them have started together. They've then got a goalkeeper who they've never played with. So there's a lot on here, and the experience of Robbo, like, yeah, he won't be happy with playing the amounts of games or the games that he's playing. But when you're vice captain, you've got to take it on the chin, because these are the games for you where you come in and you've got to make sure everyone's solid. So I actually think, even though he won't be happy with it, seeing Robbo in that captain role will be really nice to see, because I think he's a boss leader, a boss lad, and he can get the best out of these lads, can't he, Steve?
Yeah, Milner was great at this. Yeah. Milner was a great cup captain. I always felt, you know, there'd be a mad team going away to Swansea or whatever, and it'd be full of kids and like fringe players, and you need a little bit of guidance, and Milner was always great at it. I think this is one of the reasons Andy Robbo was the vice captain. You know, Van Dijk, touch wood again, plays all the league games, so your vice captain probably is going to be someone who you need is going to be available for these games. Like, it would have been easy to give it to Mo or Ali, or they're the two other prime candidates really, and you could have thought. But then, like, they don't play, so then probably Joe Gomez then captains this team, but he isn't really a captain. He's a guy filling in the armband for a day. Andy Robbo, he mentioned in his his post-game comment after Madrid, like, I'm the vice captain of the football club now. Once I made my mind up to stay, I'm committed to it. I'm the vice captain, I'm a leader, and I think that's really important. And I think it was a good decision from Slot for that reason. If this was just Joe Gomez, because Andy Robbo was like not the vice captain, it's just a bit of whatever happening, then I think that is a little bit different. So, having said that, Gomez will have a job on, you know, he will have a goalkeeper behind him he won't be that familiar with, and he will have Leone, we would guess, next to him. Reece Williams, again, he is in the squad, isn't he? I think Rob Page confirmed that to Dan when he spoke to him. He hasn't played for Dan, he hasn't played for the 21s. They didn't train together. Now there's a world where maybe he plays and Gomez is the right back. You know, they're worried about Frimpong, because we all presume Frimpong, but if Liverpool just want to look after him as well, that's an option, and that does feel risky. I wouldn't like that, to be honest. I think it should be Gomez in the middle. With Leone, who I like, go back to, I'm very excited to see this guy. You know, £26 million. This is I don't mean to use Reece Williams as like a negative thing here, but like, that's the difference in the type of young player Liverpool now have. Like, our young player is a £26 million guy who's knocking on the door of Italy's national team. You know what I mean? Yeah. Liverpool have levelled up the squad in that way. Your fourth choice centre half is him, and he was very nearly fifth choice, if not for a deadline day collapse. So I think that just shows the level of the squad. I'm hugely excited to see about him, because I have not seen anything of him.
He's 6'5". No, I'm just trying to see how tall he is, because everyone was saying how tall he is. 6'5".
He's huge. And all I saw of him is the clips. You know, when we were buying him, I didn't know much of him. I know I spoke to Josh Williams about him and looked at the numbers and stuff. It's not like seeing a guy in the flesh, and he's another one. He's meant to be the future of Liverpool. Like, the idea is that he is here for 10 years. Yeah. He fills in for Virgil van Dijk, and eventually when he goes, like, when you spend this much money, you're investing in people. Another one we should be very, very excited to see.
Yeah, he is possibly, aside from the forwards, because there's a certain player who, I can't wait to watch every time he laces his boots up. But Leone, for me, is the one I'm like, I want to see what he's about, because 26 million on a lad who's 18, that is an absolute joke. But if we think that highly of him, look, I'm backing Liverpool and their recruitment every single day of the week. So I can't wait to see how good he actually is. Midfield, then there's quite a few names to choose from. Hopefully the likes of Curtis Jones is back. You've obviously got Trey, who I love watching, Trey and Yanni. Enzo will probably feature in this. But actually there's some interesting ones. I think it might be a bit too early for Stefan. I don't really think he will be a part of this, but we'll see. But Vert basically got a rest the other day against Everton, and actually, to be honest, he's not started great. This game might actually help him have a go against a lower opposition, get some minutes, find some space, find your actual groove of how good you are, and look, we all know how good he will become. But maybe Florian Wirtz has something to say on this game. And also Maka, not started brilliantly, isn't finishing the games, is possibly our first substitute for a while. So there are a couple of names who, look, we might not have them involved for obvious reasons, but at the same time, it could actually benefit Florian Wirtz or Maka, couldn't it, Luke?
Yeah, definitely. I think Maka maybe might see Maka last half an hour if they're trying to build his minutes up. Yeah. Sort of get him, because that get him to a full 90 for the week.
He's not fit, is he?
No, exactly. That's what it is. Sort of with Wirtz, what's interesting is, I think, obviously, if Wirtz plays in the midfield, my midfield would be Wataru Endo, Curtis Jones and Florian Wirtz, but he definitely could play off the left, and we see Trey in midfield as well. Yeah. So I think that would be quite an interesting call. I think he has to play this one, especially if he's been rested at the weekend, and I think it could help him play into form. And he could do with getting a goal or an assist sort of in the Premier League and the Cup. I know he got that as the Community Shield one, but he could do it just playing himself into a little bit of form, and I think this is a good opportunity to do so. But who that comes at the expense of would then likely be either Trey Leone, Rio Engamoa or Federico Chiesa. One of them's got to give somewhere.
Yeah. I'm torn. My initial reaction is to go Endo, Jones, Trey.
Yeah.
But I do see the value in giving Wirtz half, whether that's or giving him some time just to. And again, this is just guessing. He might be absolutely fine, by the way. We're all just presuming he's a little bit all over the place. He might just be sound. Liverpool keep winning and on top of the league, and I'll come here to win stuff. And by the way, look at what we're doing. So, again, judging by the comments made by Rob Page to Dan, there was a lot of young lads taken out of the unders to be in the Liverpool squad. That gives me the sense that they're all going to be on the bench. The likes of Morrison, maybe Conor Doherty, these young lads. A similar bench that Liverpool had at Plymouth. Because in the past, you'd rotate your team, and I know all your big guns could be on the bench to come on. Yeah. I go back to West Ham in the Cup last year. He brings Mo on for no reason. He just and then he obviously scores because Mo. but I don't see that's the case this year. So if you want one or two big names on the bench, it might be a Wirtz or a McAllister, just to add a little bit there. It depends where Slot's head is. But I think Endo needs to start. Yeah, definitely, and I definitely think Curtis needs to start. I personally, I think I would go with Trey. Mm-hmm. But if Wirtz's head's gone and he just looks like a lad who just needs a goal or an assist, then I could understand that as well. Yeah,
well, we'll get to the full starting 11s in a minute. We're just going to run it through the forwards, and this is where I am the most excited, because obviously we've got Chiesa, which everyone loves the Chiesa song, but Rio, I'm sorry, but I am going to this game to watch Rio. That is, and look, there could be a chance for Ekitike, who's not played 90 minutes. There's a chance for Alexander Isak, and I actually think it really benefits Alexander Isak this game, and yet somehow I'm still sat here saying Rio is the one I look forward to the most. Jayden Danns will hopefully have some part of this stay. So actually, it's really quite exciting up front, isn't it?
Yeah, I would start Isak. Actually, I would give him the first half only or whatever, and just pure minutes, building up the minutes. So Slot said he was goosed after doing 60 against Atleti. He does 15-20 against Everton. You
could tell, by the way, against Everton. I thought
he looks so. Again, according to the fitness regime, they'll know more about us than, of course, but I think he looks like a lad who could do it. And whatever, if he scores or whatever, fantastic, it'd be great. But I think he looks like he could do it. If he isn't, it will be interesting. The manager, we just presumed he was going to play Chiesa, and he just doesn't pick him ever.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is that if he's not even on your bench, maybe he just gets thrown in because he's... And listen, I love Chiesa, I'm fine with that. If it's him right and Rio left with Isak or Dan's as centre-forward, that's absolutely fine. There's a world where you could play Chiesa centre-forward as well if you wanted to do something a little bit different, like say, maybe Wirtz and Rio either side of him. That all could happen as well. But Isak, for me, I want him to start against Crystal Palace or be available to start. Again, XTK, fantastic, and we'll see how we go. But whatever the path to getting Isak ready to play 90 minutes, that's what tomorrow is. So if the fitness team think he needs an hour, give him the hour, give him whatever he needs. And it'd be interesting to see how Rio does. You know, he started the Accrington game, didn't he? And again, he's a young lad. He'll get taken off. So we keep seeing him as this cameo player. It'd be interesting to see him as a starting player now because there's a lot of expectation, like you just mentioned before. That time he plays the Accrington game, it's a bit like, oh, the young kid who we got from Chelsea. Now he's made the name for himself, obviously, and you know, people are starting to write songs about him and give him this big build-up. It'll be interesting to see how he deals with that because his profile has gone from here to like up here now. You know, he's on the bench ahead of Chiesa at the weekend. He's clearly very, very highly thought of.
He's in the Champions League squad against Chiesa as well.
Exactly,
so I mean,
poor Federico, man.
I know, sad.
Can't get a break. And Joe, he was great in the reverse of this fixture last season. Joe, I thought the same early. I thought he was boss. I remember going, we're like, hey, he's played that case. You know, we just need to get a couple of minutes. And it just
I think he megged someone, and it was sensational at the time it happened. So okay, then let's give your combined 11 then, because I think you'll probably be really quite close. So we're all with Mamardashvili in goal. Right back, are we going Jeremy Frimpong?
Yeah,
Jeremy Frimpong. Centre halves, it's got to be Leone and Gomez for me, but does anyone think Reece Williams has a chance at all?
I think he might get on.
Yeah, but he won't.
I don't think he'll start.
So he won't start.
Cool. Left back, Robbo, obviously. Yeah, all on that. What is your midfield? I think you went with Kurt, Trey. Or are you going Florian right now?
I'm with you, Steve. I don't think he'll give Case in the minutes. I reckon Wirtz might play half an hour, 45 minutes, and then he might change it.
Enzo, Jones,
Trey.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the midfield. And then up top, who are we going with? I mean, look, I want to see Rio on the left. I'm not going to lie. So for me, Florian Wirtz is probably bench.
I think he will go Rio, Chiesa, Isak.
So is Florian Wirtz in the squad for you?
I think Wirtz gets a half an hour. He didn't play against Arsenal because he was goosed. So like,
okay.
But I do think it'd be important to get him on if he to try and get some bit more confidence
in him.
Yeah.
I think Wirtz will start up there in the front three somewhere. It's just whether it's interchangeable for start and whether he thinks it'll work.
So who's missing out then? Chiesa. And is Rio playing on the right for you?
Yeah.
See, I've not seen Rio on the right. So.
And he could go the other way, couldn't he? Like it's whether he thinks it's interchangeable or not, isn't it? That was the whole idea about it.
Isak up front for you as well.
Yeah, definitely Isak's up top.
So we're going to look at some of the other games. Don't worry, absolutely all of them are dog
You know what's mad? Again, they seed this now, don't they, a little bit, and the European teams avoid each other. There's only one, I think, all Premier League. It's big. It's Wolves v Everton. Well, it's all Premier League team versus lower league team. So if it goes chalk, like the next round is going to be full of all the big hitters, really. I mean, it depends if you don't call it. Man United are out. Do they even count a big hitter?
Not anymore.
Grimsby are through, by the way, aren't they?
Grimsby are through again, Grimsby
don't want them.
No, don't want them.
Giant killing Grimsby.
Not.
Palace are already through.
Yeah, Brentford are through as well.
To be fair, Forest went out. Actually, Swansea knocked Forest out, but the rest of them are all... There's some big teams there, you know.
There are. We'll go through some of the games whilst you get ready for your score predictions. And I also want goal scorers because I think that's exciting. Lincoln host Chelsea. How very, very boring. Wolves Everton, like we mentioned, is probably the pick of the bunch. And sadly, it is tomorrow when we play. Fulham v Cambridge. Wigan v Wickham, which is actually hard.
The poshest football game.
Potentially,
Ever really could be.
Fulham v Cambridge could be the poshest.
It is up there. Like,
that is the Tory Bowl of...
Wow. Wrexham v Reading, Burnley, Cardiff, Barnsley, Brighton, Huddersfield, obviously against Manchester City. It feels like that fixture is every single season.
They play each other a lot, don't they?
Yeah.
Southampton and Huddersfield City seems to be a thing.
Newcastle host Bradford, Spurs face Doncaster, and Port Vale host Arsenal. I actually wouldn't even bother watching any football this weekend if I was you, aside from us. But let's go to your predictions and goal scorers, please, Luke.
Yeah, I think 3-0. I'm hoping Isak gets off the mark.
Nice.
And then I'll go for, if Dan's is on the bench, I'll go with Dan's for another Southampton goal.
Oh, yeah, he does enjoy them.
He does like it.
Sting?
Yeah, because given the team we've picked, Liverpool should scored plenty.
Yeah.
4-1.
Cool. Who are we going with the goal scorers?
Yeah, I think Isak gets off the mark, and Rio. I think Rio scores as well.
Yeah, I can't wait. I hope Rio scores. I'd love to see more of Trey as well, by the way, because I think
I'd love it again. If it was an idea where I just want Verts to get off the mark as well, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you do.
Well, anyway, hopefully it will be an exciting game. I think it's absolutely mad, the team that we've put together, because it's quite a really exciting and boss team to see. Some Liverpool players will be making their debuts. We get to see the first of the likes of Leone and obviously Mamadashvili. Hopefully we get to see an Isak goal, a bit more of Rio, and a bit more of the likes of Florian Wirtz and Trey, hopefully. So exciting, even if it is the early rounds of the EFL Cup. Thank you so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. We will have a watch along, won't we? It is you and Errol on the watch along on Tuesday.
Couldn't get any better, could it? Absolutely fun, dream team. Kicks off at 8, so we'll be live about 6:40. Team news, all that kind of good stuff as well. Yeah, and to be fair, I think it's gone to penalties a few times, the early EFL Cup, hasn't it? So
I could do without that, you know. I can't be arsed with a late one.
Yeah, no,
it's already late.
It's straight to pens anyway.
Yeah,
only a couple of minutes.
But yeah, come and join me in that. If nothing else, we'll have a laugh.
Yeah.
We tend to do that, so yeah.
We'll probably speak about a load more things other than football whilst the game's going on, actually, because that's what tends to happen.
My mum's
noted
kind of this, you know. I think she just thinks it's a podcast. Like, she sends to watch the watch along now, even like if I'm not
Chris's go-to is always, what's your favourite packet of crisps?
Yeah, no.
And that's a good topic.
To be fair, it can fluctuate. It depends how good the game is. Me and Errol, we vibe.
Yeah.
he's good vibes. I sometimes think on these late games, I rock up and Errol brings it out of that.
Errol brings the energy.
He's too positive to allow that to happen. Yeah. So your mum watches, Errol's mum watches, my mum watches. Maybe we're the choice of the mums. Me and Errol are the mum's choice. Yeah.
Maybe.
If you're a mum or you've got a mum, tell her to tune in.
Yeah. Red Ben, YouTube. Why not? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have a boss rest of your week. And until the next one, up the Reds.